Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to FYI, Friday, 22nd of
Already.
April, 2022. We're
Stop
here
that.
with you.
Already.
We're here with you. It's the weekend. Oh my God.
Yes, it is. Believe it or not.
TGIF.
Yeah,
Thank God
yeah.
it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
I felt like I cheated the week.
FYI, TGIF.
I felt like I cheated the week, because
Yeah.
I came in on Wednesday and then
Mhm.
Thursday that today is Friday.
Yeah, and then you gone on Monday. Cheat week.
I
Cheat
felt
weeks.
like I
Cheat weeks.
cheated a week, guys, because I wasn't here on Monday because it was a holiday, and then I ended up not being here on Tuesday.
For damn cheating.
So I honestly felt like I cheated you guys out of 2 days. I don't know why.
She did.
I did miss
And she's
you
gonna make up for it.
tremendously.
She's gonna make up for it. She told us that, and
Yes,
we're holding her to that.
yes, I'll
She's
make
gonna
up
make
for
up for it. Yeah.
most definitely.
Trying to orient.
Beatrice, how you? Candy, how are you guys? I know that you're in the comment section there. I see 20 persons there already commented before we even got online. So as we release the comment section this morning, guys, tell us what you're doing.
Tell us.
Have you been last evening? I see Siobhan says it's a beautiful sunny day in New Jersey, and degree is 55 outside.
55 degrees.
So they're living it up there. Gavelin
Wow.
TGIF, my FYI family.
Yes,
Same
yes,
to you.
yes,
Keith
yes.
Dowling, hey, good morning to you. Keith, Ingrid Crawford, good morning to you. Ingrid, I see you there.
Ingrid.
I say, Amabel Clement, hey, Amabel, how are you, family? I see, is it Stanborn? Yes. Stanborn is up and about. Stanborn said boom.
Some fantastic folks are joining us. And you know what you got to do when you join. You know what you got to do, folks.
You have one thing that you have to do. One requirement. Well,
not plenty things. One thing.
Or three.
One thing.
One thing you got to do. Good to see all of you guys. And share the information to make sure that you share to every single group and to your pages also. Whatever it is there, make sure that you share, guys. It is always a pleasure to be here with you.
We got some of that to do ourselves.
Very interesting. Very interesting bit of news that we're picking up this morning from around the world in the regions. Can't wait to get to that part.
A lot of stuff happening.
I'm so excited, super excited.
I wonder why.
To get to the news.
I've never seen this excited before.
I'm always excited. Why? I'm excited more so because it's Friday.
I'm concerned now.
It's Friday, and I'll be having the weekend to my family. Like I told you guys, I always advocate for spending time with family. I believe it's most important, and I've made a decision that every weekend I spend a day strictly with my family, no interruptions. It's important for your mental health. Manzo was here yesterday, and she was talking about the fact that she is learning how important it is, especially as politicians, to be able to care for your mental and physical health as well, so that you will be better able to effectively and efficiently represent your constituency, and this case all the people of this wonderful country of ours. So where are you joining us from, guys?
Let us know.
Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know how is the weather there also. And most obviously, we want to know what you're having for breakfast from wherever you are.
Yeah.
If you're from Letem, let us know what you're having for breakfast in Letem. Bartica folks, Judah David always come through with something special.
Let us know. I know we've just gone through some other pages, so we want to say welcome and good morning to all the persons who are now joining us. Welcome to FYI. It's Friday.
Oh my goodness.
FYI.
So Carl Fordyce. Hey Carl, how are you this morning? Karen Clark, good morning to you. Also Suzette Washington. Marlene King says, I love the dress to match. It was unintentional, Sheridan's put together his piece as well, don't worry.
I try not to be a distraction. Anything that doesn't make me a distraction, I go with it.
Sheridan trying not to be a distraction, he says, Trust me. Yeah. Our viewers,
fantastic viewers.
They pay attention to every single thing.
I saw somebody watching the sink now.
Somebody watching the sink, if it's turned right,
change the blind to drapes.
The letter of the day looks like
Yeah, I think so. Oh my. Ingrid King and Sherry Baskin Greenwich out of Barbados. Ingrid says I'm washing but I'm still listening. Excellent,
Oh
excellent.
my goodness. Yes.
Scrooks the clothes good. Scrooks
So
the
see, is it Lion? Fire Lion is joining from Atlanta, Georgia. That's a strange name.
Or is it Fair?
Fair.
Yeah, as in the Trinidadian artist, Fair Lion.
That
I
can be
think
FYA.
I think it's playing on that Fair Lion.
But FYA is fire.
Fire Lion, I don't know. Fire Lion, if that's
I mean, I don't
if
know if
that's
it's supposed
something.
to be fair, but
Fire Lion.
I mean the phonics of it says fire. Guys, let's not get to
Cave, wave, have, I don't know. We have a copy
Oh my goodness.
You
I
know.
see Alexis Williams saying good morning to you, Alexis. How you been?
Good to see you, Alexis. Good to see you, wonderful folks.
I see Elaine Smith is with us also, and JG.
Yeah.
JG, good morning to you. I
Yeah.
see JG joining us.
JG joining
YouTube.
FYI.
That's on
on TGIF.
Hey, we have been I've been getting some calls about persons who join us from LinkedIn, you know. And
Oh yes.
and
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Candy.
We apologize for not acknowledging our LinkedIn viewers.
Yeah. What's the other viewer? It's Candy and there's another person.
Quinn also.
Quinn. Candy and Quinn.
LinkedIn.
Good morning, joining us on LinkedIn. We love us some LinkedIn
so
folks.
Candy says, Joretta Markey sent a very special good morning to you. Whoever Markey is, say thank you.
Just a dry is only Joretta. They said, hey. All right.
I see Alana Tang, respect and manners from Matthews Ridge. And you know, I'm a little biased when it comes to these areas. I love it when persons join from these areas. So good morning to you.
Yeah. Folks, whichever page you're joining us from, make sure that you like that page, you follow that page, whichever Facebook page you're joining us from. You're joining us from YouTube, ensure that you subscribe to that YouTube channel you're joining us from. You're joining us on LinkedIn, make sure you follow that page on LinkedIn. You guys are joining us on Twitter. With Twitter people.
Yep.
Ensure you give us a retweet. We want to see the comments from LinkedIn. We've never seen a LinkedIn comment for some reason. You got to check to see what's happening there. But we see our Twitter folks. You're joining us on Twitter. We want to see your comments as well. Smash the emoji, because Twitter got emojis too.
Yes.
And we want to see those comments. And be sure we're going to give you guys a shout out once we can. Alexis Williams and Derek Smith and Roxanne, Aaron, all the other folks.
I saw, I think it's Chanel Ross was saying that she's having float bake and tuna.
Wow.
Float bake and tuna this morning.
I know about the tuna part, but the float bake, I can take that.
Derek Smith is in the house joining us from Antigua this morning.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Sharon Alfonso, hey, good morning to you. Alicia
morning, Sharon.
Oh my goodness. Marlon said I finished sharing. So Marlon's in order.
Good. Welcome. You a legitimate viewers. The others we can worry about. Guys, wherever you're joining us from, welcome to FYI on this TGIF day. Okay, I think Candy's saying the same thing. And a blessed morning. I'm getting from Marky. Yes.
So I don't know who. Hey, Beatrice, I see you there.
Beatrice, how are you doing? Good to see you, Beatrice. Good people. Edward Gonzalez from the Bronx. Cool in the Bronx. Yep. Good to see you, Edward.
I think Vanessa De Silva is saying good morning from the Cooperative Republic of Linden.
Yes. Welcome. Respect and manners. Respect and manners. You know, there's a protest in Linden. We're coming to that shortly. You know, we might as well talk about that early because those folks who can go out there just as our show ends, there's going to be a protest in front of the Linden Hospital complex this morning.
Yeah.
And we know those of you who follow us and support us, you don't even have to know why there's a protest. You're going to go. And we're going to talk about that later on in the program. But there's going to be a protest at 9 a.m. outside of the Linden Hospital
once you hear
complex.
the Linden Hospital complex, you already know what is going on there, you know.
Nothing irregular.
Warren here, Warren
Long Island?
Happy. Yes,
Long Island, Warren?
Welcome.
Welcome, Warren. Welcome. Respect and manners. Respect and manners.
Warren is needed at that protest in Linden. You know, these Linden people gotta surround each other with strength.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Warren, you gotta be here for this protest in Linden.
Yeah, here in spirit. He probably sees live too. But good to have all of you guys all set. Is it these fancy names? Good. GAIA, Gia, right? Or set AU. Fancy names, man.
Yes, I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try. I
Yep,
see
yep, yep.
Lola Lancaster Bishop is here this
Yep,
morning.
yep. Lola
Lola
says,
says Humphrey must go.
Humpty, Humpty, Humpty.
Humphrey.
Humpty must go. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty must go.
Warren says Figuera is represented in Linden.
Yeah.
Warren sent the troops forward.
Great, great. And Warren says Long Island is warm island. Nice, nice. Happy, happy. I hope it, all is well with you guys in the diaspora, wherever you're joining us from this morning. That it's lovely. It's good. You're gonna have a productive day. We're gonna claim that for you guys. Productive day.
Ricardo, thank you for your sentiments. Your
What
kind
Ricardo
words.
say? What did Ricardo say?
Yes.
Let me Ricardo
No,
say.
I just said thank you for your compliments.
What did he say? What did he say?
No, he was just being nice. He was just being nice. Yes. So
Go on
Marlon,
from there.
Thomas, Marie,
What did he say?
Copping Williams. I see Beatrice. No, the
Yeah.
comment went by very fast.
Still tranquilo. Marlon says Humpty Dumpty must go. Right?
Oh my
Veronica
goodness.
Primo Morales watching us from Georgia. Veronica, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit, but I know sometimes people don't always comment, but they're watching us.
Where are the folks from Berbice? Guys, if
Yes.
you're joining from Berbice,
Yes.
let us know. We know we have
Yes.
a lot of folks that join from Berbice, and I'm always interested in these areas. These areas are dear to my heart.
Yeah.
I tell
Wilson,
you.
France, we see you. Christina Thom Peters watching us from New York. Good to see you, Christina. Amanda Daniels is here. Ken Sandra is here.
Kenneth Dennis is here with us this morning.
Yep.
I can't remember seeing Kenneth yesterday. He's Kenneth saying good morning
Yep.
and greetings from London. So
Wow.
Kenneth, I am so glad that you're joining us this
Yeah,
morning.
and please say hi to the Queen for us. She's celebrating her 96th birthday, I think it is.
She's different. I think she's
Yeah.
still, I think she was driving only the other
And
day.
still going. I saw her posing with some of her horses recently. You see those beasts?
Oh my goodness.
Huge.
The horses?
Yes.
Okay.
I would prefer the Queen by any means. Come on now.
The horses
The
are
horses, but they were huge.
But
They
the
were
Queen
huge.
it's quite a character altogether. I actually was fascinated with this Netflix series, The Queen. I think I can't remember how many series they had. I think it was just a couple, but I was really fascinated with that piece because a little bit I know that they don't get all the details right and all of that, but it's interesting to look at those things.
Yeah.
To see the history that as it unfolded.
Kudos, Her Majesty. Happy birthday.
Yeah, from a child basically, she had to assume the crown. So a whole lot to learn from all of those things. I see Bridget Gittin says I'm watching from Lodge representing Berbice.
Yeah.
All right, coming through.
Yep, good to see you.
Glycis
Good to see
Mingo
you.
Burn. Hey Glycis, nice to see you here this morning also. I see Uncle Shrek go period. Okay. You see Vanessa De Silva. I know Vanessa gonna be out on that protest, don't worry. And Joel, is it Bacon? Am I seeing it right? Am I calling it right?
Where?
Joel.
It's probably
At the
Bacon.
top.
Gloria Chester. Gloria, how are you doing?
I
Gloria
don't know.
joining us from Diamond. Humphrey, whatever. Gloria, good morning. Good to see you there, Gloria. Just all is well at your end. Great to see you.
Yeeson Slow is joining us this morning from Trinidad. So I see Alison Pearson is watching from Toronto. However,
Toronto?
representing
Good,
Essequibo.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know the guy put the other shame though, who abused his wife there.
Oh my goodness,
Right? But he's from I know the SQ people say he's not from SQ, he's from Pomeroon.
Rose and Boston Adams is joining us from Wakenham.
Fantastic.
Love those areas. Love those. Listen, I'm from the country. I don't see it any other way. It was a mining town of Bardica, but our lifestyle and growing up is just it's simple, nice, unique, all the good things. I come from a very simple background, and I can tell persons because of that. My humble beginnings. I have a different appreciation for different persons in this country, different lifestyles and so on and so forth. Yes.
Never despise humble beginnings. Where did I hear that?
That's why
Never
I'm here. That
humble beginnings.
Yep. Everything that I've been through as a child growing up has brought me and crafted me into the woman I am today. So I appreciate all of those things along the way. I think I have a distinct appreciation for how difficult it is for poor people living in this country right now, and I think I have the drive to make sure that they do better and better is afforded to them, better opportunities for them to elevate their lives and all of that because of my humble beginnings.
Peace and power.
I have to, I'm most appreciative of it. I didn't see it like that back then, you know, I'm like,
Peace and
why,
power.
you know, why do I have to be in this?
Lord,
But now,
how come me here?
you know,
That
now
Negro
it's different.
spiritual.
So,
Lord, how come me here? That's what you used to say.
yeah.
But now, you know, you understand it better by and by. Negro
Yes.
spiritual mixed with a hymn.
Thank you, Amir. Amir sir, I just know, I just know, but for some reason, Joretta has a good voice. You see, sure, you need to get your
You
voice.
only seeing them.
You need to get your voice in
So
order.
that you can't see
Thank you so much for the kind
Thanks,
comments.
Amir. Peace and
Oh
power.
my goodness! But we
Peace and
have
power.
lots to discuss
Very,
this morning,
very
and I
much.
want us
Plenty.
to, I want us to
Plenty
actually
full.
go
Plenty,
into
yes.
it immediately.
Go into it. Yep.
Let's go into that immediately. Some of the things that we were looking at in the morning papers this morning is the fact that the Guyana's first juvenile drug treatment court will be open soon, you know. And I have to say that for this particular one, I am very grateful that this is coming on board. And, listen, I have said many times that credit given where credit is due and all of that thing. So all the work that has been going on for some time, and now to get these things on the way, I see the Adolescent and Juvenile Drug Treatment Court will soon be launched with the aim of reforming the juvenile justice system and reducing social ills by providing alternatives to young offenders who are drug abusers, you know. And this particular one is going to be beneficial to a lot of young people. And we're always advocates for the betterment and the development of our young people. Even if they, for whatever reason, got into that lifestyle, they are drug abuser or drug addicts altogether. So I think that is a good step in the right direction.
Nice.
And one of the things that I want to look at is,
you know, as you did, Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't think it made the morning trend, but we focused on it last night on our other program In the Ring, where the Sophia night school has come back with a bang. It has come back with a bang, and we want to say respect and manners to Leroy Adolphus. I actually went to school with Leroy in secondary school. I think we were either in the same level or he was a year younger than I was then. But Leroy Adolphus, highly educated, highly skilled. He did a master's in something overseas. He was one of our early Chevening scholars, did a master's overseas and has come back and has really taken on that challenge of people who, for whatever reason, have not engaged a formal learning system at that adult level to make sure that they're up to scratch and they're captured in the system and they can lift the level of their academic prowess through some extra, not extracurricular, what is the word I'm looking for? But in that way, so the Sophia Night School is the, you know, some people have had it rough in life, or some reason why you may not have completed CXC or you may have failed a subject.
The majority of them is because they had it rough in life, you know, things that they could not financially afford to be sent to school by their parents, and all of these things are reasons. Listen, the cycle of poverty and how on all of those things, you know, that is what captures, that is what produces a lot of those situations.
So the Sophia Night School, extramural, I think is the word, the phrase I'm looking for, is that kind of institution that can bring you into that formal setting, and kind of through their tutoring and the examinations and so on, you were able to get back into the formal education system and make a difference with your life. And their funding was cut by the current government through, I think, as Charles Ramson's Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture used to give them a subvention. And that was cut when the administration came. And I ain't gonna tell you all, you know, what that means, really and truly. But their funding was cut, and now that has GT&T, you know, executing their corporate responsibility, respect and manners to GT&T. They have now stepped in to help the night school, the Sophia Night School, if you want to be a little extra Sophia night school there. I think it costs about $3 or $4 million per month. And I can easily understand that, you know, to run a facility like that. And I was so happy to see that this is now back on stream, because there are a lot of people, as you rightfully said, Druja,
Yeah.
who, for whatever reason, missed out on a certain
Nobody
part of their
chooses that.
academic life,
Nobody chooses
and they're
to
able
be in
to
those
come back.
situations. You know,
Yeah,
that's not a deliberate choice that you make. Oh, I'm going to
yeah,
not do these things, and I'm going to choose to suffer or to
yeah,
punish in life going forward. Nobody chooses that for themselves.
yeah. So I want to say, really and truly, respect and manners to GT and T for doing this. And you
Yeah.
rightly said, give respect where respect is due. And it's not an easy thing, because when you gotta, these are tough economic times. You gotta look at your bottom
Yeah.
line as a company, and in spite of all that, to say we're gonna take on this challenge here. That is something to be commended.
Yeah.
That's something.
So much for adding to goodwill. You
Yeah.
know, GT&T just have my vote of confidence there for doing
Yeah.
that. I can say that.
Yeah.
You know, and as we move on as in the morning papers, one of the things that I'm looking at is a letter that was sent to Kaitor News, and heading it is headed as a society we have failed domestic violence victims. As a society, we have failed domestic violence victim, and I have want to agree with this person because I mean, you can see it however you want to see it. You know, if we
There's only one way
collectively
to see it.
if we collectively see day after day, week after week, reports are mounting about domestic violence, tragedies, deaths from these situations. And as a society, we can still go on social media and see some persons trying to justify actions of abusers. I understand where this person is coming from. I endorse this sentiment, and I have to say that this is not a problem no one organization or institution can fix. It's a collective issue that we all need to put our hands together to fix it all together.
Yeah. So think about it this in these terms. We have a pandemic, and we're still going through the throes of that pandemic. And we have spent millions, if not billions of dollars to stave off that pandemic.
Yeah.
And we've lost about just over, I think, 1,200 lives as a country to that. I think if you look back over the last 10 years, we would have lost more persons than that to domestic violence. Women who've been shot, run over by vehicles, strangled, you name it, murdered.
But I want to look at it in a little different light. I get you on that.
The point I'm making is just that the same amount of attention, right? Because domestic violence is a pandemic in and of itself that we must put all our energies, combine them. And what it needs is leadership and not just lip service. It needs strong leadership from the front, from the policymakers on this, parliament, the executive, the government. Strong leadership is needed for us to curb some of this.
The judiciary altogether needs to play a hefty role when it comes to curbing this from. But one of the points I want to make is that you mentioned the number there for the pandemic, with the COVID pandemic. Folks, you would remember that we covered one morning right here on FYI, and we covered domestic violence and domestic abuse as a pandemic on its own. And this is something that we hold on to. This is a pandemic. We have been suffering from this for years. It has been mounting. More persons are being affected by it. And I can say confidently right now, when you look at the numbers, you can see hundreds of persons report, hundreds of people are reporting these cases every year. So we don't even have to go to how many persons actually died in these situations, because people cannot function effectively in society if they are in those situations, right? If they are in a state of mental depression, psychological turmoil, and all of those things, they cannot go out into a working world and actually perform at their optimum. And because that, the country continues to suffer. And we have to provide that safety net for our women folk and all of that. You see, when persons are talking about building 300 houses to house persons for CPL and so forth, immediately I think about the fact that when domestic violence victims are looking for help, they don't have a shelter to go to, so they have to go back into that very same situation. So we have to prioritize in order to safeguard the citizens of our country. That is our most important resource, or human resource. And domestic violence is a direct threat, a pandemic that attacks and threatens our human resource in some of the most vicious ways imaginable. So we definitely need to.
And we're going to circle back to this issue when we talk about what happened in the Pomeroon recently with that gentleman who savagely beat his wife. That's on the trend this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, actually, that is something that we have to speak about. Oh my goodness! But I don't even want to think about the video. to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's as savage as you can think about. But I want to also, as we're looking at what's going on in the morning papers, vaccines depend the low.
This is coming out of which Kite show news, I think.
Yes,
Is them boys say?
them boys say.
Interesting read today.
Them
Interesting
boys
read.
is a different.
Yeah.
I love how they always end their talk half left, half. But in Creole is a little too much to me. But basically, they're saying is that Uncle Frank then your own world. This is something that we have.
Big Uncle Frank.
They're saying Uncle Frank and they're in your own world. The man's still talking about vaccination, but over the long holiday weekend, nobody not torn up for vaccines.
And
right?
and they're complaining that some of the vaccines are going to expire soon.
Exactly, right? And we would, folks, you would remember that that we were speaking tremendously, consistently on how the procurement process of the vaccines and all of those things. And here we are right now with a whole lot of vaccines, persons to take the vaccine. But I kept saying that you cannot go telling people that you're just opening back the country and then expect people to believe that they have the need to go take vaccines. It doesn't work like that. How it's sending mixed messages, and people don't respond well when you send mixed messages, especially from the level of leadership of a country. So that's the results that you are having there right now.
Remember the name Sheikh Dalmoud Al Maktoum?
Yep.
That was the Sheikh
That's when we pay a double.
from the UAE, who exactly paid double the cost for the Sputnik V. And that's it. We still don't know all the information, as concerns that contract. And we've asked it publicly, but them boys are so full of transparency and good governance and accountability. We haven't seen it as yet. Right? So that's on that front. But again, Frank has been complaining that persons aren't coming to take the vaccine. But as you really said, we've dropped all the pretty much all of the COVID-19 protocols, regulations, and so forth.
Yeah.
As that, but I personally have been practicing still. Wearing my mask.
We have to. And we're both fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
We're both fully vaccinated, and we did this since early on. It was never a secret.
Yeah.
The very day I took the vaccine, I posted it up for persons to see.
Yeah.
I posted my card and so for persons to know that here I am, and I am telling you I got vaccinated. You should go too.
We were full of COVID and fully vaccinated too.
Yep. You name it.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't taken your vaccine yet, please consider doing so. Please consider it, because this is something that we're in for the long haul. And we don't pronounce it a lot now because there is not as much accurate testing, because now you have home testing, and then the administration has said if you're positive, you don't need to tell us and all that, and you can care for your sick home and all that. It's bizarre the way the whole thing has unraveled, but it's still something that we have to contemplate when we go out. I see big parties are being planned.
But there's a new variant, and I just wanted to just stick that in right now. There's a new variant we have been seeing in Shanghai on the level of lockdown that they are practicing as we speak right now.
Yeah.
And because of this new variant, and I believe the variant is already in the Caribbean.
Is it the BA2? It is
already in the Caribbean.
One of the territories did report on it.
And as we know, we keep speaking about the level of integration of the world. We have flights in and out of every country. So I'm going to tell you, if it's in the Caribbean, it's in Guyana. That is as straightforward as we can be.
You got to protect yourself well and truly. Well and truly. Guys, welcome to FYI. If you're now joining us, we've saved the seats for you. We're happy that you guys are here. Pull up a cup of coffee tea, Milo tea, tea bag tea, whatever kind of tea you're having. Some porridge tea, if that's what you think. Tea. Whatever you want to have. And pull up a chair with us. We got a couple of things we think you ought to know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guys, I will consistently tell you that when it comes to bringing you the news, we make sure that we comb every single credible news site. One of those news site that we actually look at and we actually comb through is The Loop.
Yeah.
The Loop is actually, I believe, it is affiliated with Digicel.
Correct.
And The Loop actually gives us Caribbean news. A lot of times, we would be bringing you stories from The Loop also. So strange enough.
Thank you, Loop.
Yeah, strange enough, and we have like different papers: CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. We have the U.S. Sun, and all of those news agencies that we go through, just to make sure that once it's being spoken about, you're going to hear about it in the morning FYI program. So
Credible and
There
valid.
I was at 4 a.m. this
Yeah.
morning going through the loop, and I think it was the U.S. Sun also, and
Yeah.
to see the Caribbean news that's actually
But
up and
I
running.
think we got some international news before we get it. I know Judy is so
No,
excited to
I'm
start
seeing
with
that
it.
as the international
You,
news
you,
actually
oh, that's
there.
where you're going first? Okay. I thought we
Yes,
were
I'm
going first.
actually seeing
So we
that.
started with Honduras. But Judy is so excited.
Honduras.
Judy is so excited
For some reason,
to get closer.
you know what? We should start with Honduras. Let's start with Honduras. Guys, let's start with Honduras.
We're gonna start it? You sure?
For our
You
own
sure you want to start
safety.
it? Sure you want to start it? Honduras?
For our own safety. Let us start with Honduras. So
That's where we're gonna start it. All right. That's where you want to start.
Yes.
That is where we shall start, folks.
So we see the former Honduras president extradited to the U.S. on drugs and weapon charges. Former Honduras president extradited to the U.S. on drugs and weapon charges. And this is I think this is
when Uncle Sam see coming.
I think this is a strong message that is being sent to persons in other countries that whether US ready for you, they're ready for you.
Yeah.
You know you can't.
All who aided in supplying drug trafficking and so on.
Yep.
Me ain't got thing to worry about. I sleep comfortable when the night come.
Yeah, we're not about that life.
Y'all involving corruption and shady dealings and drug trafficking and gun runnings and so on.
Yes.
Honduras.
So lesson to learn there, notes to be taken there that the US they don't play. And one of the things I must say also is that they have a way of. I was having this conversation with my friend only last evening, and she was telling me, when the US is coming for you, they don't come for you and say, well, we have this suspicion. They come to you, they say, we have been investigating you
10 years,
some time,
15 years.
And this is the evidence that we have accumulated and all of that.
Presidential immunity can help the Honduras president there or anybody else. No presidential immunity from prosecution. Right? So carry on smartly. That's all we can say. Carry on smartly. Carry on smartly. Carry on.
So there you have it. Like I said, a lesson to be taken from that. Most definitely. And as we move forward, like I was saying a little earlier, one of the most surprising news pieces that I've come across for a very long time is what I saw in the loop this morning. I'm going to take it away as the best as I could, because first of all, guys, let me tell you, when I read this thing, I had to go check to see if this is actually valid news. I had to go double check because I know the loop brings
valid. Checking, folks.
I am serious.
She went checking.
Sherida's going to clown this one about, but don't worry.
She went checking. She went looking. To make sure it is real.
It's serious news.
Make sure it is real.
Yes.
She has to check.
And I'm literally calling the sources. I am calling the sources repeatedly so you can go check it yourselves.
You better brace yourself.
You can go check it yourself, but believe it or not, there's actually reports right about now circulating in both the U.S. Sun, several other U.S. papers, online papers also, and there we have it in the Caribbean, in the loop, that actually states that Haiti, and I'm going to paraphrase some of this, Haiti have the 5th largest manhood in the world, and this is literally saying that the study finds that, and I'm thinking to myself, how does this come into the loop? A Caribbean paper.
Jurita is editorializing. It doesn't say manhood.
It says that.
So please read it. If you're being accurate, read the People headline the way it was meant to be read.
Listen,
right? If you are credible
about
it,
if I was putting together this slide, I would have been making it even more a little bit discreeter.
You understand how we meet a manhood now? You understand how we meet a manhood? Like, what is your manhood? What does that mean? This is what your manhood.
Your manhood.
A child, when automatically you think X, Y. You see how people get confused in this life?
That's why it's not for children. This show is not for children.
Right. So
we're at a PG-16.
So Haiti has the fifth largest manhood.
Manhood in the world. Eggplant. Like, I can find
fifth largest manhood in the world. Can you believe that, guys?
No, but
can you believe that?
Could you believe that the study was actually conducted about this? And I'm thinking to myself, because I am very interested in research. I can tell you that, right? So I always look to see, like, when I hear about studies and so, like, what are the parameters of this study? What is the sampling technique used and all of those things? Because how do you get to this? What's the purpose of a study like that? I still don't understand. But I have to say that Caribbean news, the Loop, found it very interesting to actually look at that. And I think one of the more interesting parts is that the American men was ranked at number 59. So
Is this born American or people in men in America?
I can't
Generally,
believe it, right?
right? But I'm interested outside of America
Oh my
and
goodness.
Haiti. Very interested because we got to represent. How did Guyanese men do?
I didn't see any.
How did Guyanese men measure?
I don't know. I don't see any statistical representation.
So we didn't make the list.
I don't think they actually went to
If
every
America
country.
made 65th,
59.
59th,
Yeah.
we make the list.
No, but I can't believe somebody actually did a study on that. I'm still on that part. Like, who and for what purposes would that be a study?
Relevant? We were talking the other day of countries people would want to visit.
Like Finland was the happiest country in the world. I don't understand that Finland being the happiest country in the world. That's something that I understand that ranking, but I don't understand the relevance of this particular ranking.
You don't understand the relevance? So you won't look at none of these countries that they rank here and say, oh, I ain't been to Haiti in a long time.
No, but
Naomi Jockey says you're blushing.
No, actually, no. Actually,
so you wouldn't visit Haiti based on this newfound.
First of all, when I looked at the ranking, right, the first thing that I was thinking to myself is that it's something a little flawed. I think they need to do this study over again because I don't understand how
Ghana didn't make the list.
How Ghana didn't make this list. That's just
right?
false.
I want to recount.
A remeasure.
A remeasure. How we make the list?
Yeah, but it's most ridiculous. But I have to mention before we move on that number one was Ecuador, ranked number one. Cameroon, ranked number two.
I can see how people now can root for the Ecuadorian president who got extradited now because Ecuador. Who knew? Who knew?
But that's a bit of crazy news, guys. But I just have.
Would Ecuador be one of the countries on your bucket list?
Ecuador? No, well, wherever me and my intended is visiting, we'll be going together. so I'll say that much, So, no questions asked.
So you wouldn't say no to Ecuador?
We'll be going together. I will be going with company. I don't play.
She's freaky like that.
I don't play with any. I don't. Those things don't end. Probably when you're younger.
Going with company. She goes with company.
Probably when you're younger, you're fascinated with all. But more older you get, you realize that what's different in life and those things like.
It's true.
So now
Haiti different. Ghana people make this. I'm shocked by that. Me concerned with Ecuador. I ain't concerned too much with Haiti. But I concerned we making lists these days.
Oh my gosh, Sharon.
I'm very concerned with that. Right? When was this testing done? Let's know.
Yeah, well,
where was the testing site?
We have to check on that.
Who was tested? I want to know.
But moving along, folks.
Moving along. No pun intended. Moving along.
It's crazy that this is
moving along.
And
Vanessa De Silva, interesting.
This is actually Naomi said, please investigate again.
Somebody said they're taking a flight out tonight. They be out, taking a flight out. Haiti boy, who knew Haiti? Right? Ghana make the list. Right? You see Ali them Gabi? Right? Right? Oh, Father, help us. Father, help me.
It's most crazy.
Yeah, it's most crazy. I blame some people. Hold on, Trudy, hold on. I know you're heading for the short of it. You want me to prolong this thing?
I'm trying to save the reputation of Guyanese. The Guyanese.
But I'm just saying, it's some people embarrassing us because I remember. Maybe.
It's a sampling, where the sampling
was done. I'm coming there.
Sampling
because
technique.
Recently, there were some photographs in circulation. Right? And I don't know if the people use that as the measure. Right? But there were some photographs in circulation, people showing all the shortcomings and so on. I don't know if they use that as the measure and say this is what do you call that? This is a sampling of Guyanese men. So I would say, let me hold this report. Let me say this is a preliminary report. Don't let me use that as we are sick or any stick. right? Maybe that's what they catch. That's the daily people measuring we, and they say, all right, this is typical Guyanese men, right? Now, I am disturbed by this. I'm upset. I am outraged. What are the words can I use there? This is a slap in the face,
you know,
right?
no, who did the study? I kid you not. I literally find out who did the study and what's the purpose of the study, because you just don't go out there like
Yeah.
just
We measure
randomly pulling data out.
We
You know,
measuring
it's
up.
just crazy. You know, I just don't get why that study
Yeah.
was done. But I saw it there on the
Truth is
Caribbean
going to take
News.
this issue in hand and make sure we get to the bottom of it.
Yes, representing
Yeah.
my Guyanese
Yeah.
people. You know, we
Take it in
can't
hand,
have them
Rita,
there.
and
So
get on top of this. Let's move forward.
I will be looking into. I will be looking into the
Right.
statistical.
Yeah. Get on top of it. Get on top of it. Moving
Regionally,
along.
guys.
Regionally.
Regionally. St.
Regionally.
Kitts and Nevis, you know.
Yep.
Cheryl, let's take it through
What's
there. I'll
happening
just
there?
have Cheryl take us
You know,
through this part.
yesterday, the majority of the majority of parliamentarians. Let me hold a focus, people. Let me hold a focus. A majority of parliamentarians in the Nevision legislature, they sent a letter to the Governor General, Sir Tapley Seaton, Seaton, indicating that they do not support Dr. Timothy Harris as the Prime Minister. Right? They do not. And last evening there was a national address by the Prime Minister, Dr. Harris, and he was telling the country that the country is stable and they all need to work together. And whether or not he's going to be ousted, that's another story.
Yeah.
But the majority of parliamentarians here in Kitts and Nevis said to the Governor General that they no longer support Dr. Timothy Harris. And of course, we're going to be covering this as more details become available. All right, we're get some messages on our last story. Let's see where we go from
here. This is not last story. Sometimes I have to check in. I'm still a mommy, so I have to do some little spot checks.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, and definitely Dr. Timothy Harris is in some trouble there.
But most definitely, guys, and one of the things also that we're looking at on this is kind of regional and local front, that we have the Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is expected to be visiting Guyana in May. So next month we are expecting to see Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley over here in Guyana paying us a visit.
Correct.
And I'm actually happy to see that this is happening, given all that transpired recently with the back and forth and all that, the comments that was made from the Vice President of Guyana, and also the parliamentarians in Trinidad and Tobago, also Dr. Rowley responding to that in the most diplomatic manner possible. Right, guys? So
Yep. That's coming up. A lot of things happening, Rita, on that front. I want to let you know a lot of things happening on the Trinidad Guyana front. And it says that that Dr. Rowley is coming for part of an Agri Expo that's happening here. But a lot of things I think you're going to have on the sidelines of that, some bilaterals, some meetings between the administration and the Trinidadian administration as well on the sidelines of that. But in addition to that, last evening, we picked up on some reporting coming out of our affiliate website, Credible Sources.
Yes.
And they were picking up on some information that broke in the Trinidadian press, the Guardian in particular, that says that this former minister of the United National Congress in Trinidad, Minister Ganga Singh, he's employed with the Guyanese consulate in Trinidad. Quite interesting. He was employed recently by the PPP administration. He was a minister under Kamala Bissessar prime ministerialship and Kamala Bissessar-led government in Trinidad. And recently there was a connection, a possible connection that's there with some of what transpired recently. And you guys know that Mr. Jagdeo, Vice President Jagdeo, had said that Trinidad is falling apart, and then Rowley weighed in on that. Their Foreign Affairs Minister weighed in on that.
Yeah.
And in responding to one of the questions, Rowley had said he's not like some people, because there was this member of parliament
Plate of food.
who was claiming that Rowley is not friendly with this administration here because of some special relationship or camaraderie he has with
the coalition,
with the coalition, and in particular David Granger. And Rowley says that is not so. He said, he's not like some people, and he used the phrase, who interfere in the governments of other countries.
Yeah.
Why all of this is relevant? Because and why this story even got mentioned, because Rickford Burke is the person really and truly who broke this story that this former Trinidadian minister employed by Kamala Bissessar, who is a personal friend of Mr. Jacquio, and who persons feel when he even made that statement about Trinidad falling apart,
it was on their behalf.
It was on their behalf, trying to get her reelected. Right? And so now here's a former minister under her cabinet and a former UNC member being part of her party, a UNC member, not former, right, who is now employed in the consulate in Trinidad. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Not turning events, because it was happening all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Very interesting revelations.
Yep.
Very interesting revelations. And we said here that this is campaigning. We said it here too.
Yeah.
That this was campaigning. And now here you have happening there. And I would love to see what the contract looks like. And this was confirmed. The Guardian confirmed this with Foreign Affairs here. That yes, and Foreign Affairs said yes, the man does work there.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff happening. Ganga Singh.
But again,
Ganga Singh. And one of the charges, which are finally, not necessarily finally, but one of the charges here is that one of the charges Rickford Burke made is that he has information that suggests that Ganga Singh interfered, was hired by the PPP and interfered in the 2020 regional and general elections in Guyana. Hence the link to that statement that Prime Minister Rowley made, that he's not like some of the UNC people who interferes in foreign governments. And mind you, this was before we knew that Ganga Singh was working at the consulate, the Guyanese consulate there in Trinidad. So lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff happening. I love to see his contract. I love to see what his contract looks like, what his remuneration is. Has a big portfolio.
Yep.
A big portfolio at the consulate in Trinidad. But again, interesting, because it is broadly known that the PPP is very closely linked to the UNC in Trinidad. It is broadly known. Right? This is no secret. It's broadly known. Right? And so that is why, again, when that statement was made, Trinidad is falling apart. No one saw it as just an off-the-cuff statement.
Of course not.
And now the links, right? The connections the dots are now beginning to connect. Right? There was a lot of interference in the 2020 general and regional election, and now you're seeing again the dots connecting.
Yeah. Persons need to. I think the Guyana 2020 election is one that will be remembered forever in the Caribbean, and a lot more, I think, needs to be documented as to what transpired.
As we're on that front, Rita, quite recently, as we're in the regional front, quite recently, you remember in the UN General Assembly, Guyana abstained from that vote to have Russia suspended from the Human Rights Committee or Commission.
And then there was an announcement of a specific person from the US coming to Guyana in June. And after that, there was another vote.
There was another vote quite recently. Now, this was in the OAS.
Yes.
This was in the OAS in the region, the Organization of American States. And Guyana has voted now, suddenly, to suspend Russia as an observer nation in the OAS overnight.
But I found it as
Uncle Blinken coming, U.S. Secretary of State.
That's the only way I
Interesting turn of events. So we're watching all of these things. And we're going to keep you guys well informed. FYI.
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, there I have it, with 25 votes in favor, 0 against, and 8 abstentions and 1 absent. The Permanent Council approved the resolution, and the resolution is suspension of the status of the Russian Federation as a permanent observer of the Organization of American States. And in that regard, Guyana voted voted to say I'm actually looking right now because I may
Yeah.
not be able to
They
pull this
voted to
up.
suspend Russia as an observer nation in the OAS. I think that's
But
the
what was
context of it.
quite
Yeah.
interesting for
Tell us.
me,
Tell
if
us.
guys, you can just bear with me for a couple seconds. But what was most interesting is the comment that came out of, I think, is Mr. Prasad, because he was he is quite a spokesperson when it comes to a lot of matters as it concern foreign relations in our country. I'm not being able to pull that up, but basically he was defending the vote and saying that this we have these principles that we stand by and all of that.
Who got principles?
So it didn't align with the previous abstention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
How is it so sudden that you abide
Yeah, the
by
change of heart.
these things and all of those?
We can change foreign policy course. Definitely, we can change that.
Yes.
Yep. Locally and coming closer to home, we did talk about the prevalence of domestic violence, and we saw in the Pomeroon quite recently, this gentleman beat his wife mercilessly,
All right.
kicked and punched and.
All right, so I wanted to quote because I just pulled it up. See, Robert M. Prasad is saying there on his Twitter account, guys, just before we move forward, if you can bear with me.
Yep.
Robert M. Prasad is saying there on his Twitter account that Guyana voted in favor of the OAS. We stand by our principled position on territorial integrity and against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Robert Prasad, believe it or not, I found this most
So one day
interesting.
you don't vote to suspend him at the UN from the Human Rights Commission or whatever it is there.
Integrity and all of these things. Now, what about the territorial integrity? Now they're actually saying against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So it doesn't add up. You went and you abstained from one of the most important votes at that level, and now you come here and you put in a vote when it comes to suspension of the status.
Oh, because Blinken is coming.
Right?
Wow. Wow. I would love to know the phone call that the administration get from the US. We say, what nonsense y'all doing?
Yep.
Stupid fools.
Oh my goodness. But I found that most interesting.
Interesting turn of events.
Yes.
Interesting
As
turn
we
of
move
events.
forward,
As we move forward.
I think you're looking at the husband that's been jailed for 18 months
18
for
months.
beating his wife.
We're not going to show the video here.
No, we're not going to show the video here. It's very disturbing.
We want the energy early morning.
Footage, definitely. We don't want to see that, but we know that the individual is Raul DaCosta. Raul DaCosta, the equipment man who was caught on camera brutalizing his wife with stomps to her head and a combination of punches to her face, was on Thursday jailed for 18 months. So this happened yesterday, and
Father of mercy, Father have his mercy.
What could
Yeah. I saw it's not 18 years. Honestly, I didn't want to go out this morning. I really try not to go out, but I saw it's not 18 years.
Yeah.
Right? I think he deserved more than that.
Yeah.
18 months is a short time.
But I would for it, I said
18 months is a short time.
And I am not gonna say like a lot of people, there's man and woman story. She needs to get the hell away from
that's a national story.
She needs to utilize that 18 months to be as far as she possibly can be from that person. She needs to utilize that 18 months.
I think 18 months is too short of a time for that kind of brutality.
Yep. The 18 months, I would be 18 months in distance away. I kid you not.
But that's how that went down. 18 months. 18 months. Too short to me, but.
But on a more positive note of that is that the rapidness at which the actual that whole court
that is admirable,
right? So I have to give credit there. I know there's a Saudi magistrate court that dealt with that yesterday, so I have to say kudos to the persons that actually dealt with that, and whatever was reported, the way in which it was handled,
that is very commendable.
It was done with efficiency, and because of that, 18 months yesterday, just a few days after the incident occurred, I believe. So commendable to them for that route. And I have to say that I hope, like I say, the young lady, she needs to be surrounded with support. No one needs to be saying she probably did this or probably did that. If you would do that, I kid you not, I block and delete persons like crazy for that level of ignorance.
Yep.
I don't have the tolerance for it. Anyway, as we move forward,
our what they said segment. What they said segment. I love this segment.
Failed projects.
Right? Failed
Take
projects.
it away, Sharon.
Right? As a matter of fact, before we get there, there's a meeting that's happening. Sorry, I kind of jumped ahead. You know what? We'll take the other one. We'll go with you and then we'll circle back. The failed project, they talked about several projects of the PPP, and Anand Gulsaran, who writes for the Sabbath News, who is a former Auditor General in this country, renowned where accounting is concerned and these issues, wrote quite recently on several failed projects, huge projects that this nation undertook. Incidentally, all of them have occurred under the PPP. Incidentally, and Sabbath News editorial this morning is picking up on that very issue of these failed projects. And it's stated here, and we want to just quote it quickly for you, that with all the money and that oil promises, the administration is steamrolling the PPP, steamrolling ahead with another number of high visibility infrastructural projects costing eye-watering sums, like the Demerara Harbor Bridge, the new Demerara Harbor Bridge, that is, the Gas Shore project. And no one is confident that it will be more careful about the Chinese contracts than it has been in the past. Instead, it continues to denigrate its critics, no matter how qualified, no matter how rational, no matter how committed to the development of this nation those persons are. And the editorial goes on to state, folks, that in order not to be impeded in its tracks, it has either emasculated existing watchdog institutions, such as the EPA, which has performed very poorly following the removal of its head, Dr. Vincent Adams, on political grounds, or it fails to set up the necessary bodies. Folks, the editorial goes on to say that, or if it does set them up, it makes sure it can retain some control, as in the case of the Natural Resources Fund. Interestingly, the NRF, autonomy is not a word that sits well with Freedom House. The editorial goes on to say, autonomy is not a word that sits well with Freedom House. Yep. That's what they said. That's what they said this morning.
And they're absolutely correct. You know, a lot of times persons have a lot of short memory.
Very much so.
You know, Guyanese in particular tend to forget things quickly because of how rapidly new, more devastating events can overtake what has happened previously. We're in a state right now in 2022, persons struggling to feed their families and all that. That's a primary focus of everybody. And so because of that, persons tend to forget what a country experienced and went through in terms of our resources, how monies were allocated and spent, misused and abused previously under the PPP prior to 2015. So I'm absolutely happy that these persons are taking the time to give a reminder to persons of how these things went. And also I can say that as we often say, you know, a good predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And that is what is going on right now. If you see the same thing being done over and over, as you put it over, I believe you said Einstein said it's madness to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different results. And in this case, you have the same people doing the same things over and over. And how do we dare expect a different result?
Well, in Guyana, we call that Jaguarism, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We call that Jaguarism. But one hopes that that's an issue that Aubrey Norton raises with Irfan Ali when they meet. And we heard that that meeting is going to be very, very good. And Norton has already been setting the agenda. He said that there should be a broad agenda. He wants to talk about all the commissions that have not been operationalized as yet. The appointment, perhaps, of the substantive commissioner of police, and also the appointment, perhaps, of the substantive Chief Justice and Chancellor of the Judiciary. It's been 17 long years since those two positions have been in terms of substantive heads, the Judiciary and the Chancellor of the Judiciary and the Chief Justice. Correct. And so Aubrey Norton has already come out the block stating that, you know, we don't only want a photo op, basically. We want meaningful engagement. Yep, that's what we say. Meaningful engagement.
We definitely need to have that, and it's a step in the right direction.
Definitely,
I must say, and our main aim is to make sure that the people of this country benefit, and we represent the people of the country to the best of our ability. Right now. So, however that goes, we're going to be here. I'm hoping for a good, better sense will prevail, and the outcome reflects benefits for the people of this country.
Yep. We turn to next our person of interest, Rita, our person of interest,
Yeah.
and it's none other than
Darren Adams.
Yep.
Darren Adams, chairman of Region 10 Regional Democratic
Respect and manners.
Council there, Mr. Darren Adams. I must say that Darren Adams is a very good colleague of myself, and I actually have first interacted with Darren Adams during the recount process. It was myself, him, and the current regional chairman of Region 4 that was actually there in that process in the tabulation center, to be exact. So Darren has been doing quite an amazing job there in Region 10. A young person that has been given the opportunity to serve, and he is doing it to the best of his ability. I know Darren Adams, as it is this morning, guys, with all that is going on in Linden, Darren Adams is out there, and he is actually calling on persons to join him in protest at this very moment. The protest was set to begin at 9 a.m. This morning, and I encourage persons to go out there once you are in Linden to make sure that you support the community with all that's going on. But Darren is quite an amazing person, and we this morning we want to celebrate him as our personal interest.
It's because of all the work. It's not just about this morning. It's all the work. This morning just highlights that. And folks, share the live stream, smash that emoji button, partner with us, so folks continue to get valid and credible information like this. It's because Darren has been on the forefront of really and on the vanguard, protecting the citizens of Region 10, protecting the citizens of Linden. And he has been one of those very, very hard-working regional chairmen. We can't say for a lot of them that they're hardworking. Right? We can't say that. But Darren has been exceptional out there fighting the good fight. And that is why Darren Adams, without a question, is our person of interest this morning. And he continues to fight that good fight, because it brings us to our big issue this morning, which is really small, and what is happening at the Linden Hospital Complex. Right? It brings us to the big issue this morning, right? Which makes Darren grow even bigger in our eyes, because of course, without a question, he's going to jump in there, right? And protect. Because yesterday, you had 30 persons or more who were dismissed from the Linden Hospital Complex. And I know that Darren Adams, you've had also German Figuera, who have been very, very, very strong on this and spoke out against it immediately, right? Immediately, and organized that protest, which I think should still happen this morning. I said still happen because we're getting some information that suggests that because of the pushback by Darren and the other folks, the team in Linden, the Minister of Health has instructed Mr. Rudy Small to rescind those termination letters. I mean, how is this administration operating? Is the tail wagging the dog? Like the right hand don't know what the left hand doing? Or it's because of the pushback? Right? You would want to think there's method to the madness. It's just madness.
But according to the report that we're seeing in Village Voice, it says 27 that the complex fights over 27 staff. Over 27 staff
in one day.
And I'm looking at one of the posts that Darren made to Mr. Adams made to his Facebook page, and he's saying carpenters, cleaners, porters, kitchen staff, and other categories of personnel are now joining the long list of the recently unemployed in the hands of this government. It's crazy. It's crazy
that is what the PPP did yesterday.
No, but I want
that's the craziness, as you characterize.
No, I want to say this. Listen, I want to say this. Bara Jagdeo, along with other persons, went to Linden quite recently, if you would remember, and they made this promise, this pledge that they're going to be given 800 jobs to the persons in Region 10, 800 jobs in 2 weeks. All right. And before a single one of those jobs could be delivered, we see now, and mind you, we went at length to speak about the fact that they actually was filtering out those forms through the political mechanism that they have, where the office of the prime minister was being utilized to actually have those forms distributed and so on and so forth. So we went to the length to point out that the corruption in that altogether should not be tolerated. And
Correct.
now, before a single one of those jobs can actually
Yep.
be seen, or I think this is over a month after, now we're looking at the fact that
Wasn't a month ago,
over 20,
Trina?
it wasn't a month
It's
ago.
about 2 weeks ago.
No, it's not, it's more than 2 weeks. We're looking at the fact now that it's more than 2 weeks. I remember because on the 2 week marker, I was looking to see where they were with with delivering these 800 jobs that they said they would have done in 2 weeks. I knew it was longer than 2 weeks, but I want to make the point that now over 27 workers dismissed. The government, the same government that went there and said that they understand the plight of persons when it comes to employment.
They care.
The same set of people that says that they're going to be doing everything in their power, even though they were promising short-term employment, right? Part-time jobs. Even though they were promising those things, they're saying that because we understand, and then they turn around and dismiss over 27 persons in one day.
And they care. And now because of the work of folks like Darren Adams, like MP German Figuera, and all the other folks, Sharma Salman on the ground there, Vanessa Kisu on the ground there, lots of other hardworking people, thanks to them and they push back their effort. Frank Anthony is now saying that he has instructed Rudy Small, right, to rescind that. They always got some people willing to sell the Mati for plate of food,
Darren Adams went on to say in his post that they are taking away the ability of these employees to care for their families and indeed to provide for their children on the eve of the reopening of schools. As far as it can be discerned, there is no plan to provide employment, but rather to snatch away the livelihood of employees here and gather information through distribution of employment forms that would seem to lead them to their supporters so that these same jobs could be offered up to them in the name of job creation.
Yep. And so
that's what they're trying to do,
shame.
That is what they're trying to do.
Shame on the administration, and the shame make them now going to rescind these contracts. It's nothing but shame. And this is not the only set, There have been countless persons since this administration took over who've been fired. The whole board of Guardian was fired. Now, folks, let's make sense out of nonsense.
The nursing school.
Right? The nursing school. But with the board of Guardian, Linden, Region 10 is predominantly, and Linden, an Afro-Guyanese community. You have the whole board of Guardian, right? It's East Indians. And nothing wrong with East Indians being on the board, but it should be reflective of the community. We don't even aim at gender balance, or you got a whole board, the GWI board.
They don't care about perception, period.
Right? You don't care about, ethnic balance, meaningless.
Wow.
And now that, again, you draw a line around the problem, you rub out the line, and then you fix it. This is them attempting, damage control. They will do everything within the next 2 months not to have a protest in this country. They will do everything not to have a protest. Rowley coming, Blinken coming, right? They're moving out all the garbage. Clean up. This is when people visiting. Does everything under the carpet, right? Shoot the children at the back, and you put on a show. But the heart's still nasty and dirty, and that's this administration.
Well, I believe that this should be very much the last straw when it comes to Rudy Small, and actually him being there at the Linden.
It will not be the last straw because it serves their purpose. His timing might have been wrong. He didn't just wake up one day and do that. He's just an instrument, a blunt instrument.
The same protest that is being organized because of what this incident. It needs to continue. He needs to go.
Yes.
He needs to go.
Yep.
He needs to go.
And this is a couple of weeks ago too.
This is not a first-time offender. I'll put it over as that. This is not a first-time offender, right? Consistently, repeatedly, this person is doing things against the community's
just a couple of weeks ago,
altogether.
You had the same Rudy Small preventing nurses from parking in the compound, 2 parking lots, both empty at night.
He has no administrative skills.
You're saying to nurses, you have to park outside because only doctors and sisters can use the parking lots. Even though the parking lot at night is empty and nurses' vehicles being vandalized outside. Something is wrong. But it serves the administration purpose to have a person with that kind of character, right? Look at the board they appointed yesterday for the broadcasting entity. You got a man like Jason Abdullah on the board, and he suddenly is a social media specialist expert. Jesus of mercy. Suddenly, he's a social media expert.
And the danger, listen, I keep saying it over and over, why isn't it that why isn't it the situation that they appoint someone that you can say, oh, well, they didn't consult, but this person have the technical expertise? Why isn't that the case? Why are they deliberately not looking for the technical experts in these areas? Because they want to say that, oh, I'm going to appoint someone that knows absolutely nothing about this. So when I say this is what you have to do, they say, okay, yes, boss.
Unless there is some, if you got the technical people, they would understand that unless there is some grave situation, those posts have been made redundant, the companies going into bankruptcy, something like that. But there was nothing offered besides we aren't renewing your contract.
Yeah. For what reason? Somebody probably, didn't agree, made some Facebook post, because this is an administration that looks at your Facebook post to see if you say something negative about them, they're not going to be able to work along with
you. But Sabak, you just said they don't like criticisms. You can just fire up somebody, 30 persons in one day, and then you say, oh, we care about Linden.
Yeah.
It's the same people,
We understand the job difficulty. We understand the unemployment.
This is the Jacqueline Hyde, right? This split personality, right? This is schizophrenia. Last week you care, and this week you're abusing the PAP. No different from the man that batted his wife on the Palmer Road. No different. It's schizophrenia. That's what's happening in Linden. Last week, the vice president went and said, we love y'all, right? We love y'all. They bring in goodies. And we said it here. We've said it on our programs. If the PAP love is so nice, why does it hurt so bad?
My goodness.
I asked the 30 people they fired yesterday. I asked the 30 folks they fired yesterday about the PAP love. And now this is pushback. That's the only thing they understand,
Yeah.
Pushback. Now, because of the public pushback, they can rescind that. Same way they fired the chaplain from the Ghana Police Force. Public pushback.
But I have to say, when it comes to this particular matter in Linden, I have to say that you folks there, our family that has been with us throughout programs, you have been doing quite an amazing job. And it was yesterday, as the events were unfolding in Linden, we were updated as it unfolded with one of the viewers there that joined the Below the Belt program that actually was saying that it is happening right now.
Yeah.
So we were able to
30 plus
break that yesterday.
Fired in one day, and then the guy's gonna come back and say, "We love you all. We care about you all." Right.
But again, I just want to read the last sentence in the actual release given by Darren Adams there, and he says, "We condemn this cruel and unjustifiable act.
Rightly
call
so.
on the government to reverse this decision immediately so that our people can remain gainfully employed." And we stand with Mr. Darren Adams,
pressure.
Regional
That's the pressure
of Region
brought to
number
bear.
10.
Yeah.
And I can say that there can be no other solution, no other remedy than to have that those letters rescinded immediately, so that those persons and basically to have Rudy Small removed. How much is more? How much is enough?
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment even to their administration.
And Richard, that is why, again,
how is he a benefit? Like, how do you see this person as a benefit to the administration? How does the administration see him as a benefit?
That is the
when
benefit.
he consistently embarrasses the administration?
He's not embarrassing them. He's on the instructions. He's not embarrassing them. That is the administration.
Oh my goodness.
Right? He's performing well through the administration. He can carry out orders. But whatever the magnitude, the nature, and the quality of the orders, he can carry it out unquestioning. When they say jump, he say how high, even though he's a short man.
Like, he knows that. He knows.
That is why he's an asset to them. Anybody else would have fired him immediately in any other country. If it was Trinidad, he was going home. If it was Barbados, he was going home. Right? For the infractions before this, they want to get to this.
My
right?
goodness.
But he is an asset to them. And we asked the question, we've asked it here before. Why a certain character and quality of person attracted to the PPP?
It's as though that's
the Jason Abdullahs of this world, the Paul McCoys of this world, the Rudy Smalls of this world.
As though this is a star on your CV, acts of corruption. Oh, this one really put you at the top of the list.
Yeah. Convicted. of
Talk.
assault,
Shoot.
you tech minister.
Yeah. That's how they operate.
Right? I can strip and slap this activist. You tech minister too. You tech advisor to the government.
Advisor, yeah. My goodness.
Right? You buy spy laptop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tracing and trailing people. Oh, you so
We like the one. Listen.
Right?
Ah.
Cheating contractors, you gotta pay 200,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you take PS. Jesus have mercy. Lord have his mercies.
Better will come.
Yeah.
This is better will come. We are going to make sure that we continue to do our part.
Yeah.
We encourage you all to continue to do your part, and I can actually say at this point in time that you can't make it comfortable.
Yeah.
The people cannot be comfortable when they continue to create and to continue to commit such injustices against Guyanese.
That is why we gotta do what we gotta do. That's why we've been doing our bit at this end. Because you ain't gonna see this on NCN, you know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see Linden Hospital Fire 27. You wouldn't see this on NCN. You wouldn't see it on DPI. You wouldn't see it in the Chronicle. Mm-hmm. Right? You wouldn't see it in any of this. You wouldn't see it in Newsroom. Linden Hospital fires 27 persons. Right? Administration is tightening something. You wouldn't see it there. And that is why we do what we do, because we understand the value of credible and valid information. That is why, you know, we don't want to do it. Right? I wish I had the resources to pay for all this out of pocket.
Yeah.
Right? But we say to partner with us so we can continue to do this, get credible and valid information. Because it's one thing with darkness. Mm-hmm. Like this administration, it needs light. Mm-hmm. And you get light when you expose, you open up. We say, this is what's happening in Linden. Right? This is the darkness they're bringing to Linden. We're shining some light on the situation. That's what we do here.
And as we release the comments, guys, I encourage you all to continue to give your support to Linden, to the regional chairman there, the RDC all together, and to the entire country, especially folks in diaspora. Make sure that you continue to be engaged as what is going on home, as we continue to do our part. This is no easy battle, you know. This is an uphill task to deal with all that is going on consistently, and I have to say that there is no resolution until Rudy Small is no longer there. That is the ultimate resolution that you're looking for at the Linden Hospital complex.
If this administration cares about the staff, not only about this firing, about the staff and about the advancement of the staff and the institution, they put a proper person there. And we're not in short supply of proper people. Right? We're not in short supply of that. They would put a proper person there and put Rudy Small somewhere where they got animals. He might, even animals got rights and need to be treated in a certain way.
He has no place in that system. He has no place in the system. No part. You can't move the problem around within the public health
Why
system.
a certain kind of person attracted to
I don't
administration?
wish him on any area in this country.
Were you talking there? You need a dildo. Oh, you could set up tech minister. Why a certain caliber person? You know, guys, we want you guys to continue to empower us to do what we do. This isn't easy, and it costs us something, and that's why we encourage you guys all the time. And we are really thankful for those of you who do to come on board and to partner with us so that we can keep doing this on your behalf. We have a passion for it, bringing you credible and valid news and information, as our colleague Randolph Krishna says, to unpack these issues. It makes better sense to you. Connect the dots, because sometimes that is needed as well. We got a Cash App that's available. We got PayPal. We got Zelle. We have Zelle. Like, people don't know we have Zelle, and we see it all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it get missed along the way.
Yes, we got Zelle available. We just try to have the convenient
persons
method.
Actually, I can say that persons that join us from the diaspora. I know Zelle is very popular in the US and so on. So persons that there find it very more convenient to utilize Zelle. So anyone that's joining from there that wants a partner, you know, Zelle may be a more convenient option for you. Locally,
there's money. There's MMG that we're saying. MMG, we know that MoneyGram is international as well, and Western Union is international. You can use any of those to your convenience to come on board, partner with us, which just means help us to move these things forward. Whether it's FYI, it's below the belt, it's in the ring, it's credible sources. You help all of those by your contribution. Whatever is that contribution, it helps all of that to keep going.
Correct. Thank you so much for joining us this morning as we continue to bring credible information to you guys. You know the drill. Back at 12 noon for Below the Belt. You know also that we're going to be here at 8 p.m. this evening. In the ring, I have a good feeling in the ring is going to be crazy this evening. I'm going to encourage you to be
Pace and power.
be at ringside pretty early.
Pace and power. Pace and power.
Guys, we'll see you again for next week, actually, for FYI. It's Friday. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
We'll see you guys back on Monday.
Right? So
Monday's a holiday? I'm trying to find out.
I'm trying to figure that out.
If Monday's a holiday, we're not going to be on Monday. We should take the time to regroup and to tweak and so on. But if it's not, we're going to be back. If it's not a holiday locally in Guyana, where we broadcast from, the Cooperative Oil Producing Republic. The greatest country on earth.
Yeah, so Carol Roylins here, Penelope Howard, Sherilyn, I see Graylord, Deborah Clark, I see Carl Miller says okay, Israel. Okay, Carl, I see you there, Marine Chichester Paul. Saying thanks, you all stay safe, pace and power. Guys, you stay safe too. It is absolutely important that all of you go out there and be very safe. You are our most important resource, your family. You are our human resource on that end, and you continue to do exactly what you're doing every single day, holding this government accountable by making sure that you comment, like, share, and you are a part of the dissemination of information. Information is a powerful tool. Do not underestimate the power of information. That is one of the most powerful tools used throughout the world. 2022, do not underestimate the power.
It is.
Right? So thank you for being a part of the program, and we will see you tomorrow.
Share the live stream.
Actually, we will see you back